Hi, I am Sebasi Valentine and this is Passion TV. Today we are collecting stories, voices, emotions, thoughts and goodwill on the person and the man of the late Chief Dr. Clement Nyong, who at the time he was alive was one time the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and also the governor of the Old Cross River State. A lot has been said about his devotion to public service, his integrity and all the things, the values he held in high esteem. On this project, I am working with Dr. Odeme Nana, and behind the cameras is my very good friend, Victor Nelson. I call him Victor the cinematographer. So today we are at the residence of Senator Anietie Okon, who at the time we're told was a fire-spitting foot soldier of the doctor, and so we want to hear his side of the story. How did he get to meet him? At what point did they come in contact? What was it like working with the legend? So this is a living legend talking about a legend that's now in history, but on the beautiful side of history, we hope. So thank you for joining the program, and please stay with us and let's tell the stories. So how did you get to meet with him? At what point did you get in contact with Dr. Clement Isong?
There was no private occasion. I happened to have found myself in the same party with him.
What party was that, please?
The National Party of Nigeria.
Okay.
It was the advent of the Second Republic, the advent of democracy after a long, long spell of military rule. We found ourselves in the party, he right up there as a leader. It took a lot of persuasion from other leaders who wanted the best for the then Cross River State, which was then I think called Southeast State of Nigeria. It wasn't difficult really to identify in him the necessary virtues and the attributes that will ensure the type of leadership we yearned for. And in the end of the day, I believe in the end we are roundly rewarded for that decision. I was right there down the ladder. I was in the crowd of young men there. Up there you had people like the late Senator Victor Okon, the late Anietie. You had quite a very impressive array of leaders, not just from the senatorial district, the Okon senatorial district, because out there you had people like the late paramount ruler, Chief Opa, and there was also first-class people all over the place, from people like Ikoiwak and Chief Dennis Udoyan. And up here you had leading lights, people who had given of their best to their people. You had in the array my late uncle Chief Okon, who singularly was standing for bringing the Nigerian newsprint manufacturing company here, and although with regrets, we look back at such an investment with a lot of regrets, because it's been vandalized by discrepant characters all over the place.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So now, would you mind talking about the virtues that you identified in the man, Dr. Clement Isong?
Let me finish.
Okay, please take your time, sir.
Because I dwelt with just a sprinkling of people from what we now know as the Peninsula Senatorial District. They were first class.
Okay.
people as well, And you had some of them still around. They were brilliant and young and hard driving then, people like E.E.P. who was the youngest commissioner in his government. Chief, the Honorable Chief Emmanuel Omana. You had the Etiebets as well. So it was a great gathering of resourceful persons. It was God's gift to us. And not to talk of the northern part of the state, the then state. You had people from Ogoja, Wayas, Murphy, Mbu, the famous and highly revered MT Mbu, who was Nigeria's High Commissioner to the court of the Queen of England. And down the coming towards us now, you had people in Calabar area, people like the former union leader Joseph, I think it was Joseph Ekpo, also people like Aripo, a former foreign minister, Chief Aripo, and the rest of them. Anyway, the state, as it then was structured, had an admirable source of credible persons that have given service to the country and in the public service and also in some cases in the private sector. And we are now ready to take on the responsibility and banner of self-rule through the practice of democracy. We were in the young elements of the great party. You could say the army of young, aspiring, and dedicated people looking up to some stellar leadership qualities and wanting to emulate and learn from them. So it was a very, very fantastic group of our people. And I hope that we are benefiting as a people in later generations as we now work towards establishing a great society of our people, welding them into one great community. Yes. So for us, Dr. Clement Isong laid the foundation for growth. And as I said, we are vindicated in our support and near hero worshipping. Even, let me not say near hero, real hero worshipping of the great man. Dr. Clement Isong was the subsequent Nigerian to be delegated governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and the principal non-military personnel governor of the old Cross River State, which today is structured and known as Akwa Ibom and Cross River states. He headed the CBN during the Nigerian Civil War and during the subsequent oil boom. During his tenure, Nigeria avoided running up unsupported able debts. Isong complained that Nigeria was accumulating foreign reserves but had nowhere to invest them properly, although there was huge scope for infrastructure improvements. After retirement from the CBN at the Central Bank of Nigeria. Dr. Clement Isong entered politics. I was persuaded to provide his people with leadership, bringing to bear his intrinsic values and capacities. That's after his retirement on the platform of he led what was a short-lived industrial revolution and economic revolution for the old Cross River State. And that's why on the second and the coming of the present governor, some of us started the second coming of Dr. Clement Isong, and we have been justified and vindicated, given the plethora of development projects and economic projects which the current governor has pursued without let. And the country even acknowledge this great labor by conferring on him, in a very rare case then, on the commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So there we were. We formed the army, and I was lucky amongst my colleagues to be selected or elected the United States youth wing leader of a great party. And perhaps it was the winning I got there. From that exposure, I was properly weaned for my later day exploits as a politician. Dr. Clement Isong will go down in history of our people as the man who made us think of what was right and what was wrong, who made us accept and that the challenge in the horizon was surmountable. He made us dream of becoming millionaires, made us dream of becoming true leaders dedicated to the upliftment and progress of their people. It can never be possible to blot him out of our history. He looms large and will remain ever present, because look at our state today. The basis of industrialization and the hunger for it was laid by him. You count the number of industries, even though somehow later regimes allowed some of them to just peter out, and some even were criminally and fraudulently acquired. But not to bother. The current leadership is getting things right for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. You know, we can actually end here, but there's something you've said, there's some things that you have said I'd like you to touch on a little more. The virtues you talked about at first. I heard that you supported him wholeheartedly, that you loved the man.
Yes.
What did you see in him? What attracted you to him? What brought your loyalty to him?
Well, the inspiring roadmap that he revealed and meant for us. And those of us who were around, it's not just me. There was Ndarake Kanemti tomorrow, a major fanatic. There was Dr. Emil Kubido, the late Stephen Umo, and a host of other young men from the other part of the great Cross River community and family. You can imagine those of us raw gentlemen, some perhaps freshly out of school, being ushered into his presence and sitting in awe, looking at a gentleman in awe when you look at his achievement. The first Nigerian money economist who managed the country through a civil war and left the country in a state of unrivaled good health economically. The rest, the pilferage, the ravaging of the country regrettably has brought all that to naught. But there are signs that, with sprinklers of hope for the future, like Udom, Wika and the rest, that things will get back. It's inevitable. That's the only cause for peace and progress in this country. In spite of the major failings of the present leadership, the country will still survive the current angst that is going through.
So what would you say are his greatest legacies? How would you remember him? How do you...
I've repeated it so well.
Okay, I want to understand your personal relationship with him now. How do you remember him when you hear the name Clement, Dr. Clement Isong? In your personal relationship with him, what kind of friendship did you have together? What words would you use?
It was well beyond friendship. It was a father and son relationship, and it was an inexhaustible and inimitable tower source of inspiration for most of us. Right.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.